Well, I guess this is the Bitcoin halving that people talk about sometimes. Yep, my portfolio is worth roughly half. This is fine. Everything's gonna be all right. This is gonna be just fine. So crypto's selling off, Bitcoin's selling off, rumors are flying around that other countries are about to start their own forms of cryptocurrencies, China's about to ban Bitcoin, and just like the Matrix, the cycle continues. I knew this crypto stuff was a scam since the beginning. Any asset that's based on the greater fool theory would eventually unravel. And all the other crypto people are like, another day in crypto. So let's slow down, take a deep breath, smash the like button. In this video, I'll show you exactly what caused the collapse that happened this week. I'll show you what I'm buying at the end of this video, and then hopefully try to answer if this was the top of 2021, and if we are now in the beginning stages of the multi-year bear market that happens in crypto from time to time, or if this was something else and we're gonna go even higher. So hopefully by the end of this video, we'll go from this to that. So let's start the video. Hi, my name is Andrei Jikh. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance and stay for the therapy session. I'm your doctor, Dr. Dre. Oh, why did I bring an umbrella, you say? For drizzle. So the first thing to keep in mind is perspective. On December 21st, 2020, just 5 months ago, which is not that long ago, Bitcoin was worth $23,000, and we just broke the previous high that we set in 2017. So to say that Bitcoin crashed is kind of a stretch, but that obviously depends on when you started investing. So the first catalyst that really triggered the sell-off was overexcitement, greed, and a little bit of leverage in the market that needed to be released. Because when you have a volatile asset like Bitcoin, where everyone expects it to get to $100,000 by the end of the month, and it doesn't, people realize it's lost some momentum, and people sell off and they take profits. But then people get greedy again, and the cycle repeats itself again. So that's the first catalyst. Now let's talk about the second catalyst, which is thanks to this gentleman right here. Thanks, Elon, thanks a lot. Now I'm gonna be generationally poor because you decided to pick a coin with a dog on it instead of picking money based on sound economics. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't hurt me, Arcanine community. Here's how I look at it. Right now, Bitcoin is a relatively small asset that's worth only $700 billion. Now, that is a lot of money, but when you compare that against traditional marketplaces like the US stock market, you realize that when it's worth $50 trillion, that is a difference of 71 times. That means that the US stock market alone is 71 times bigger than Bitcoin. Now, hedge funds have been manipulating stock markets for a long time now. We've seen this play out this year alone. So when you compare that, how much easier would it be to manipulate something, whether it's with money or social influence, something that is 71 times smaller? And this is where Elon comes in, and this is why people are upset at him about manipulating the price and crashing the price of Bitcoin. But here's the thing, Elon is not at fault, and the reason why I don't blame him is the same reason why I didn't blame him when he was manipulating the price to go higher. Because if you remember, Tesla and Elon bought Bitcoin in March. They spent $1.5 billion, but it wasn't announced until later. And it wasn't until he started tweeting about how much he loved Bitcoin that the price went up. So even though it was helping people like me who were already invested in Bitcoin, no one spoke up, but it was still a form of price manipulation, just like this bad card trick, that should have signaled to the market that no man should have all that power, but no one spoke up. So it makes sense then that things should go the other way around, and then the market would fall by an equal amount if he were to change his mind, which he did. His tweets influenced the price of Bitcoin so much, it's kind of crazy. May 12th, he decides to stop accepting Bitcoin for Teslas, the price drops. May 16th, he hints he might be selling his Bitcoin, the price drops. May 17th, just kidding, diamond hands, the price goes up. So here's purely my opinion about why someone like Elon might be incentivized to do that. Remember, Elon and the SEC do not have a good relationship. It's always been a game of cat and mouse because the SEC fined Tesla and Elon $40 million only because Elon sent out a tweet that said he was considering taking Tesla private. Now remember, the crypto markets are not regulated, which means he does not have the same fiduciary responsibility to Bitcoin holders that he does to Tesla shareholders, which means you could say that maybe that's his way of having some fun and pushing back against what he considers to be the establishment, which the SEC is definitely a part of. The sad part about the entire joke joke though is that we are kind of stuck in the middle of it, and his wealth clouds his judgment in being able to see that a sentence or two on his Twitter account can impact the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. But this is just a phase that Bitcoin has to go through. This is not an inherent flaw of its design, and it doesn't change anything about its technology. We'll get over it once the market cap of Bitcoin reaches the many trillions of dollars, to the point where no amount of billionaires or influencers will be able to impact the price of Bitcoin. But we'll get there. So that's the second reason for the sell-off. Here's a third reason why our wallet's on fire. Because I need to get my tax deductions for buying all these magic tricks. Don't try this at home. Now let's talk about China, because on Tuesday, I woke up and here's what I saw. So effectively, China just threw a blue shell at the entire market. They're like, oh, crypto's in first place. I'll fix that. So this is something that's been going on in the crypto markets for a long, long time. Since as early as 2011, 2013, 2017, China has manipulated markets. That's just what they do. And if you ever see this exact format, just remember what I'm about to tell you in this video, because it's always the exact same thing that keeps repeating. So the first thing that happens is an article gets shared on some online forum somewhere. Now this is usually not in English, but it usually involves China or something or other big happening in the crypto markets. Then the news actually comes out, and then we get a badly translated version of the article, and then that gets shared on social media because everybody panics, and because of that bad translation, it takes it way out of context, and then silly influencers who can't read Chinese share those articles because they were gonna try to warn people to not pay attention, but too late. By that point, people get scared and markets sell off. The truth, it turns out, is that they are not trying to ban Bitcoin and crypto because they technically already have in 2017. And by they, by the way, I'm referring to their big three. That's their National Internet Finance Association, the National Banking Association, and the National Payment and Clearing Association. So that's the big three players that sort of operate and oversee their entire monetary system. And they were just repeating what they had said way back in 2017, which is essentially, hey, all of you banks, brokerages, financial institutions, yeah, we don't want to provide any more crypto services to people because we don't recognize Bitcoin as a currency, and we don't want our citizens buying stuff with it. So that's essentially what they said, which is ironic because you can technically still legally own Bitcoin and crypto, you just can't buy it as easily. The reason they did this is because they're telling us that they want to warn investors against investing in speculative assets that may be considered a bubble. But the truth is, if China wanted to get rid of Bitcoin, they would also ban trading, ownership, and mining of Bitcoin. Because at this point we know that up to 50% or more of Bitcoin's hashing power can come from China. So that's how these rumors get started. It's a combination of market manipulation, greed, uncertainty, and a lack of knowledge that makes people create rumors about China's about to ban this or China owns all of that. China does not control Bitcoin because there are 5 pillars of decentralization to Bitcoin. It's more than just the miners. It's also the developers, the nodes, the users, and the businesses that keep it all together. But all we hear about are the miners because that's what the news tells us and that's what Elon tweets about. Another thing people don't know about that's really big is that if I was a miner here in Vegas, in order to increase my chances of solving a block and getting rewarded Bitcoin, I would actually have to join a group of miners called a pool. So theoretically, I can actually virtually join from Vegas a Chinese managed pool, and that would make China look more powerful and centralized than it actually might be because those pools might be contributing from all over the world. So China knows all of this, and they continue to repeat old news to manipulate markets to scare people off, and whoever stands to benefit makes a profit. Now let's talk about whether this was the beginning of a multi-year bear market or if it was something else and we're gonna go way higher this year. This is where it gets exciting. First, I'll say that I'm not a day trader, and trying to guess the price of Bitcoin is about as accurate as trying to throw a card into a fan while it's in the air. So personally, I dollar cost average into the market using Coinbase Pro, where the fees are really low. I'll use a link down below. And by the way, Robinhood is cheaper, but it still doesn't let you move your coins off of the exchange. So here's the thing. When it comes to Bitcoin going up in value, anytime it's done that, whether it's in 2017, 2019, or 2020, it has always had multiple double-digit corrections during those years as well. For example, in 2017, when Bitcoin gave us a return of 1,325%, we got there by having at least 5 major corrections along the way, because in March, we were down 34%. By May, we were down 33%, and in June, we were down 39.6%. But wait, there's more, because September, we were down 40%, and finally November, down 29.6%. This is all in just 1 year. Another good example is June 2019 to March 2020. We were down 60.8%, but we ended the year positive 88% in the green. So the point is, we always have multiple major corrections along the way. And I'm gonna be really honest and tell you that I've looked and studied dozens of Wyckoff sell-off patterns and Fibonacci sequences, and I do not know how to make sense of any of it, because it feels like you can superimpose a picture over just about any graph and make sense of it. So I could see how if two people have studied the same thing, that they'll start to see the same patterns, and then they'll try to compete against each other, but I don't follow that stuff, so here's what I'll say. The way I see this crash is exactly how I experienced 2017, when we had 6 major corrections between 30 to 40%. 6 of them. In 2021, we've only had 2. Just 2, between 31 to 35%. So this means that if you ever got scared during this entire ride, that you probably had a little bit too much money invested, and you might want to consider selling some of it, or maybe just playing with house money if you can. Personally though, I have lost over $300,000. Even though it's on paper, that's still a ton of money to me and it doesn't make me feel good, but what keeps me sane is perspective. In 2017, the world was saying, paradigm shift, the world is ready for Bitcoin, we're going to $1 million, we showed those suits and ties on Wall Street, but the reality is, even in 2021, the world is not ready for Bitcoin any more than Bitcoin is ready for the world. Bitcoin is not ready because it still has a ways to go before it's an efficient, quick, and cheap, reliable form of a currency. And the world is not ready for Bitcoin because it still needs to understand what this thing is and give us some clarity as far as regulations go. So in the meantime, while we're learning and improving, Bitcoin's price is going to be exactly like this coin roll. It goes up and down and the cycle repeats. It goes up and down and the cycle repeats. You get the idea. It's a bad analogy, but I'm so excited because I've practiced this thing forever and I would never show that off in real life. That'd be weird. I still think that we can get to $100,000 this year, perhaps even a $200,000 Bitcoin this year, which I know sounds crazy, it sounds unbelievable, but Kathy Wood predicts $500,000. Maybe not this year, but still, maybe I'm not that far off. So here's what I've personally been buying. Since I already have quite a bit of money in Bitcoin, I decided to buy $15,000 worth of Ethereum instead. So I bought 5.83 coins at an average cost of $2,560, and I'm still buying Bitcoin $1,000 per day. So I'm dollar cost averaging into it. So look, I wish I could show you a graph and validate everything I've said in this video, or a chart of some sort. So here's a logarithmic chart of where Bitcoin has been and where it's likely going. Is this accurate? I have no idea, but no matter which government is trying to ban it or which whale tries to manipulate it, I'm not gonna sell it. So I'll quote Michael Saylor in saying that buying Bitcoin is kind of like buying a block of Manhattan in the early days. It's the people that bought it, that held on to it, and that passed it on to their kids that became generationally wealthy. And buying Bitcoin is the digital equivalent for our generation. So go get your own piece of Manhattan, and you can start by getting up to $250 worth of free Bitcoin using this BlockFi link right here, blockfi.com/Andrei. And once you do that, go get 2 free stocks with Webull using the link down below. When you deposit $100, you will get 2 free stocks, each of which can be valued up to $1,850. Once you got the stocks, go track them automatically with my spreadsheet, link down below in my Patreon. Love you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you back here on Monday and Friday, sometimes a Wednesday. And I hope this video helped make sense and calm everything down. This is just what crypto does. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.